Then third chapter, there is another God that is assumed to be within the humans and is called the soul or spirit. This is God of spirituality. सोल और द स्पिरिट, इसमें सिर्फ सोल लिखा था, इसमें आपने सोल और स्पिरिट
उसको इसलिए मैंने किया बिकॉज many of the spiritual people are interested in self realization. तो सेल्फ जिसको हम सेल्फ बोलते हैं या हायर सेल्फ बोलते हैं, ये स्पिरिट है. और क्योंकि अप टू द टाइम ऑफ फोर bodies realization we are always connecting with the spirit. मतलब हमारा अगर फर्स्ट बॉडी अगर एक्टिवेट हुआ, we are becoming peaceful. That is an aspect of the spirit is peace. Second body activation हुआ, we are blissful. An aspect of spirit is bliss. Third body activation हुआ, we are in awareness beyond five senses. Aspect of spirit is awareness. Fourth body activate हुआ, तो we are having now powers. An aspect of spirit is power to do whatever spirit wants to do. Now all these things we are saying this is myself. All the spiritual people, they say this is self. When they become peaceful, they say I am now connected with myself. When they become blissful, they say I am connected with myself. So up to this four body activation, it is the self. After fifth body activation, now spirit is totally gone from the human life. Now the soul takes over directly. So then it becomes soul realization. So people have never explained the difference between self-realization and soul realization. Because of that, I have said that spiritual people refer to it as soul or spirit.
But actually there is difference between soul and spirit.
Huge difference. But all those things I came into later into the book.
Ramana was talking about spirit, sir.
He was talking about who am I, so that I he is referring to his spirit. He is saying go and find your I. Socrates was saying know thyself, again spirit.
Why is the nomenclature so close?
It is again in that Sanskrit language. The people who were talking, they knew what they were talking.
Oh.
But that language is very subtle.
इसमें लिखा है except me, God and my children, the souls, all other gods are mortal. इसमें आपने souls को अपनाया है इस वाले चैप्टर में.
Yeah, the souls are eternal.
Souls are eternal, and all other gods are mortal. But here यहाँ पे फिर लिखा है इसमें I then made a soul out of my body, put it in the egg, जिससे वो बना.
Yes. So Kal has a soul
made out of
God's body. But Kal is mortal. But all the souls are immortal, including the soul of Kal.
But Kal is mortal because of the curse of being what he did, right? Not because he was to be immortal or not.
He was immortal, but God said, now I will kill you and I will again resurrect you.
इसमें फिर लिखा था I knew one day my children's souls would want to come back to me. फिर yet he will have to multiply the population of humans by producing more than what he eats, so that enough of what I put in humans will be available to the souls to come back home when they decide to come back. Meaning these energetic bodies.
All the energy bodies in numbers.
State, in numbers.
In numbers will be available, non-activated. So that's why we are now 8 billion. So this was a number that generally Earth didn't have. So that's why this is the right time for God to come. At one end the soul also wants to go back, at the other end there are enough energy bodies, and not that all of them will be going back, and maybe all will go back tomorrow. We don't know what will happen.
यहाँ पे उसने लेकिन बहुत क्लियरली लिखा है, I am helpless as I have been cursed to eat. He knows that reality from the beginning.
Did I write it as God or as the king?
King.
हाँ फिर ठीक है.
I will not appear even before my sons or to anyone else, no matter how much they worship me. I am helpless.
Yes, he knows his helplessness. His helplessness is that the truth cannot be revealed even to his own children. Forget about humans.
Because it is the curse which has to perpetuate.
It is the curse, and he is afraid that if the children come to know, they will not carry out the work of creation, sustenance and destruction.
But God now, Shiva knows, and Vishnu and Brahma.
Now everyone knows.
So still
But
Brahma
then
is continuing, right?
Brahma is continuing, and the king is taking on all the
Responsibility.
not role but work of whatever
They were-
Shiva was doing, Vishnu was doing. So it's a whole different life now we are going to have, and that life is going to be too much alien world life.
No emotions, basically.
Emotions are going to go down, number one. Number two, it will purely be about mind and creating through the mind, and that is why we have so much of creation all around us. If you look into Hyderabad, how come we have so many shops, each one having so attractive goods that anyone looking through the window at least would want to go and look at it from close distance, even though there is no money to purchase. And some of them end up paying through credit card and then take on the curse of the EMI. So but 100 years back there were no such things. So where from did this suddenly pop up? So this pops up from that place of creation, now going away from not creation, sustenance and destruction, going away from Vishnu, Shiva, and at the other end Durga, and purely being restricted to King and Brahma. Now Brahma is pure mind like King. There is no emotional component there. So it's just like the King, and he can be as bad as ruthless like the King. So so he is with the King.
ये पहले बार सुना.
If he would have had any kind of emotional component like Durga, like Vishnu, like Shiva, he would have gone to God.
He's exactly the same copy of
Same
his father.
copy of his father, and so they are very compatibility, and both are like the son will always latch on to the father, and the kind of creations. So what will come in now is dazzle, and if you look into all the shops, it's dazzling. Dazzling means it has a certain magnetic power attracting you.
आकर्षण.
No value but dazzle. Earlier it was pure value, zero dazzle. So
True.
In one of the Baithaks you had said that it's not just one king, there are many above him.
oh, that is like they are different universes and all. The people who are
born without a soul
Ah.
are considered aliens, right?
Ah.
So they'll be increasing in number. They also form food for king, or they can't form the food for the king.
actually God is now saying king doesn't need the food anymore.
This
But
biggest
king is
revelation.
tormenting the humans so that they suffer, their suffering is
why.
increased, so that they don't go to God. They are either so helpless in their suffering, or because of that their helplessness, they will go to the temple, Gurdwara, Masjid, and wherever they go. He has increased the suffering so that the humans become so helpless. that they will not go to the true God. They will go to their false gods in all their religious places, or they will try to go to the Guru to ask Guru, should I do meditation, should I do Kriya Yoga, should I do anything else,
But
something
souls
like
have
that.
already left, right, no sir?
Not all.
Souls are now wanting to go back. Those souls which do not have any human bodies, they have now left,
Oh, okay.
or living, one of the two. Those who have bodies, they are waiting for their physical body to die. The
वो सब
human,
अभी वो सफरिंग के सर्किल में है अभी.
हाँ,
In that,
but
काफी निकल गए ना,
but हाँ, बहुत निकल
आपने
गए.
बोला हाँ.
अब सोल्स अगर निकल गए तो बचा क्या है? सोल्स जाने के लिए तो ये एनर्जेटिक बॉडीज व्हीकल्स आर यूज्ड.
नहीं, लेकिन हम है ना, हमारे सोल वेट कर रहे हैं अभी भी गेट पे.
बाकी जो ह्यूमंस जिंदा है,
हम
उनका
सब
सता
सोल,
रहे हैं
हम सबको.
उनको
सोल
सता
को
रहे
नहीं, ह्यूमंस को
Humans.
हैं. वो जो ह्यूमंस को सोर्स किए हैं उनको सता रहे हैं.
सता रहा है कि अगर ये ह्यूमंस गॉड के पास नहीं जाएंगे तो इनका सोल शायद ना जाए. दैट गॉड नेवर मेड इट क्लियर whether he meditated in Ajin's house or whether he went to some place to meditate, but he didn't want to stay in that house. That much the story says. You see, these stories were given by Kabir and partly given by God, and God says, I'll not give you much about my world, but I'll give you a few pointers, and with those pointers that will give you an idea as to what might have happened.
आपने बोला ना कि वो खड़ा होकर 70 साल करने के बाद फिर आके ये पूछा, यहाँ पे उसके उसमें souls got attracted to his standing and doing. मतलब इसमें क्या वो बात था, ये जानना है.
उसके अंदर ये बात था कि he is pure mind. माइंड का एक कैपेसिटी होता है टू हिप्नोटाइज. माइंड का एक कैपेसिटी होता है टू अट्रैक्ट. माइंड का एक कैपेसिटी होता है टू प्ले पावर गेम्स. सो व्हेन द सोल्स वर गिविंग हिम अटेंशन, दे गॉट अट्रैक्टेड टू हिम, दे गॉट हिप्नोटाइज्ड बाय हिम, एंड दे फेल विद इन द पावर ट्रैप.
इसका मतलब वो उन्हीं के घर में खड़ा होकर मेडिटेट कर रहा होगा ना.
हाँ, तो सतलोक में है तो उनका ही घर हुआ. एंड सोल्स आर एवरीवेयर. नॉट ऑल सोल्स वर अट्रैक्टेड. उसके आजू बाजू जितने सोल थे, दे गॉट अट्रैक्टेड.
मतलब सतलोक में रहते हुए ही उनका माइंड इतना एक्टिव हुआ that he had these thoughts. This is not because सतलोक is pure consciousness.
Satlok is pure consciousness. But when a mind came up,
That is what I'm saying.
and God allowed that mind to be.
God allowed, right? तो वो नेक्टर का प्रॉब्लम था. If this all happened in
Nectar का problem था means main problem was he was born from the anger of the Parbrahm.
तो that also happened in Satlok only, right?
Satlok only.
मतलब ये character is from Satlok only.
Yes, but not 100% made from God's body. बाकी all sons and souls are made from God's body.
बाकी सब जो सन है, जो 16 है जिसमें नाम लिखा है,
16 भी है plus all the souls.
इसमें कहीं भी एंगर का नाम नहीं है. मर्सीफुल है, यूनियन है, लव है, क्षमा
Yeah,
है,
positive.
all positives. Where did this anger come from? जब उस श्लोक में ये इमोशन ही नहीं था. It's
The
not
anger,
that- हाँ.
the anger came from when Achint went against the will of God. Within the will of God, everything is positive. When you go against the will of God, now the negativity starts coming in.
Lord, so when he was doing his meditation, tapasya, whatever, the souls who got attracted to him, they were also using their mind, or it was random attraction?
It was not the souls had consciousness, but God said, don't put your attention on him. But they were fascinated as to what he was doing. Basically, he was going against God, and the souls saw that.
Even without the mind, they got attracted.
Even without the mind they got attracted.
परब्रह्म एलियन हुआ ना गॉड?
परब्रह्म ऑल्सो भी एलियन, क्योंकि वो भी तो गॉड के बॉडी से नहीं क्रिएट हुआ ना.
तो वो एलियन की वजह से ही ये माइंड आया ना, फिर ऐसा ही हुआ ना.
Mind came when something or someone went against the will of God. तो फर्स्ट माइंड परब्रह्म में आया, और बिकॉज ऑफ हिज एंगर वो माइंड और मैग्नीफाई होके ज्योति निरंजन में आया.
तो कहीं गॉड ने भी अलाउ किया ना?
गॉड अलाउड एवरीथिंग. गॉड नेवर स्टॉप्स एनीवन ना. आज भी गॉड अलाउ ही कर रहे हैं ना.
किसी को कुछ नहीं कहते.
What your souls have been against God's will, जाके they came to this universe. So then
They came to the
developed mind.
21
Then
universe.
they would have developed mind because they
As
had
you
against
remain close to the king, your consciousness starts going down
mind.
and your mind becomes stronger.
यहाँ पे सर मेरे को ये वाला स्टोरी में हमेशा अटकती थी सर. इंस्टेड ऑफ फॉलोइंग माय इंस्ट्रक्शंस ऑफ डूइंग द क्रिएशन वर्क हिमसेल्फ, Achin created another individual Parabrahma. मतलब this is his mind. Mind का concept वहाँ से आया है, Achin से, right?
There is a lot of things God says in this story. This is less than 1%. So we still do not know the series of events that happened, because of which Achin went against the will of God, because of which the other two characters of Parbrahma and Jyoti Niranjan were born, because of which Durga came into existence. So there is too many missing links. So the story was given just as few pointers. But if we try to limit the story within the pointers, we will miss a lot and we will have a wrong conclusion. So let not the story bring us to any conclusion of right and wrong, good and bad, and someone should have done this or shouldn't have done this. Let us just understand only one thing. If you go against the will of God, in the long run it doesn't serve you. It may give you power, it may give you mind, it may make you very special, it may make you very self-important person, it may make you a great leader, it may make you a great creator, but in the end you will still suffer. In the end you will still have no peace, bliss and anything that his 16 sons had.
यही एक डिफरेंस है. यहाँ पे कहीं एंगर का मेंशन नहीं है. All the 16 qualities.
They are
merciless है.
they are very pure qualities. I am not saying good qualities.
Pure.
They are pure qualities. And the moment you go away from God, against the will of God, rebel against God, all the impure qualities start generating. A cluster of that is known as the mind.
So God, if you want to reduce the influence of mind in our day-to-day, what do we say phrase to these on?
It's not about saying a phrase, it is about identifying what are the wantings that are still possessing me. And once you identify the wanting, then you release on the wanting. Also you take action that let it not be very important in your life. So you have to take action as well as you have to release. Release because it weakens the wanting, but also taking action means you do not indulge in that wanting. All of us indulge in wanting. So that is the only thing.
इसमें आपने ये क्लियर किया है पार्ट 7 डिसेप्शन में किंग के बारे में जब आपने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है. अनलाइक माय अदर सन्स, बेसिकली king was not born because of my will. It was not his will. King was not created from my body or will. It was an outcome of a mistake made by my son Achin. जैसे इसमें ये वाला वर्ड जो लिखा है ना, created, not created from my body, और इसमें लिखा है I made a soul out of my body. मतलब it was out of compulsion that he had to make, but not out of his will.
Yeah.
That is why this emotion, he was born out of anger and negativity of Achint's creation Parabrahm. When someone is born out of so much of negativity, everything in that person is full of negativity. So that is why the king was disconnected from me, God, from the beginning. यहाँ पे आपने ये क्लियर किया है ये वाला लाइन.
Yes.
मतलब although he made
My world का कुछ और क्लैरिटी यहाँ पे दिया
ये
है.
वाले चैप्टर.
किंग के चैप्टर में दिया है.
Even though I am the source of creation, the king wanted to create like me, God. He wanted to come at par
With God.
with God. वहाँ उसका greed. But only with mind and no consciousness. So उसका creation पूरा mind.
When creation comes from the mind, it is not eternal. When creation comes from consciousness, it is eternal. When creation comes from the mind, it is virtual.
Life force energy.
When creation comes from the consciousness, it is real. And that's why this chapter says, when all the planets, God gave him only planets, he created the stars. That means his creation of stars is a virtual reality and not a real reality. And because it is virtual, in order to make it real, he has to bring in Maya, the hypnosis, so that starting from the deities in the upper world to the beings in the lower world and the human and the animals, everyone would believe that everything is real.
So king could create all kinds of hypnosis. Many of my children, the souls fell under this hypnotic spell and started moving away from me. अब इसमें ये क्वेश्चन है, many of my children. So what are the criteria of these children who fall for them? All are same body.
Basic criteria is going against the will of God. Second criteria was they were told that we can play the game of creation, and they became ambitious that they also want to create like God.
कुछ लोग क्यों इसमें आ गए? और
Because they remained closer to king by giving attention to the king. Because they were in a place where king was doing the work.
तो उनकी inherent कोई गलती नहीं थी. It was their placement in proximity with the king.
Yeah, true, but God did go to them several times. Don't give them attention. Don't give him attention.
But mind का hypnosis का power इतना तगड़ा है कि वो उसको captivate
क्योंकि वो soul consciousness, जो soul का consciousness था, उसको भी overpower कर दिया.
But one question, king has a soul, but does he have no consciousness? And is his mind that powerful that everything is overruling that consciousness?
It's like us, we have a soul, but actually we are pure mind, no consciousness. The soul is not in us, it is moving everywhere.
But then when we are connected to you, our consciousness does increase being with you.
That is because I am in a no mind state.
So for him, he has no consciousness, like zero.
Zero. If you are fascinated with creation, then you are pure mind.
तो फिर आपके पास आके भी उनका तो माइंड ड्रॉप हो जाता होगा ना?
That's what is my question.
King का?
हाँ,
When he comes to
of
you.
course.
Does it mean he doesn't want to connect with you, God?
No, but when he comes to him, then his mind should drop.
हाँ, तो हो ही जाता होगा ना, of
But
course.
if he wants to connect to God,
वो थोड़ी मोमेंट के लिए
Moment for that moment.
God बोलते हैं थोड़े देर के लिए ड्रॉप हो जाता है, but फिर it again
पर वो
emerges back.
पर ड्रॉप हो जाता है, वो बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है.
So in that moment, doesn't feel like coming back. When that mind drops for that moment, does he feel like coming back?
No, he doesn't like it. He wants to regain the power that he has. because power gives him a sense of control. Power gives him a sense of invincible. Power gives him a sense of I am the best, I am the highest, I am the topmost. So he doesn't want to let go of those feeling that he has or gets.
Don't please put the same feelings into humans also. Even human also.
Yeah,
power
we
and
all.
they also. want
Yeah,
to
those
think
who
of
play
it.
the power games, exactly the same thing is happening. Only the scale varies. His is like the ultimate. Here it is a little bit,
Whatever.
but still, all the top leaders are playing the same game.
So basically, whatever is there in his mind, he is put into humans.
Yeah,
If we
yeah.
follow mind, they are more or less.
All his stuff here only scaled
is
down.
Created,
उसका ही अंश माइंड है,
mind.
तो वो सोचेगा, वो हम में आएगा.
उसका ही माइंड का स्पार्क हमको दे दिया, which itself is a big thing for us.
And eventually those souls lost a part of their consciousness and took on the mind of the king.
Yeah.
तभी वो इनके hypnotic circle में आ गए.
As they were
Part of
being
their
with
creation.
him, they were losing their consciousness, and a portion of the king called mind started developing.
And these are the ones who are.
These are the ones, our soul, your soul, all these things. The only thing it is no wanting. And why there is no wanting? Okay, check up whatever you want. Those who have it, did they get any happiness? Did they get any kind of peace? Did they get any kind of what we call that peace, bliss and joy? And even if they got it, how long did it last? The moment you look at it very critically, and suddenly, okay, if it happens, I do not push it away, but I am not going to run to get it. That way it starts dropping.
इतना इजी तो आपके
बस
जैसा
है
नहीं
वो
हो सकता.
एबिलिटी भी गॉड ग्रेस के
हाँ, आपके इतना इजी नहीं हो
Which
सकता.
is true, because God was actually teaching me that it is very simple. You don't need sadhana, you don't need to do so much of fasting, so much of abstinence, so much of purifying yourself, so much of punishing yourself, so much of getting up early in the morning and doing all you are doing. Means it is not what you do that will give you this. It is just being with me, and you start noticing them very clearly. But at the same time, you're still enjoying what you love to do, but you are not running to get what you don't have. So if you stop enjoying, then you are moving into the path of the ascetic. That itself is again becoming like the king. If you indulge, you are moving into the area of going into over pleasure, which again will be a trap, like all those drinking too much and going into drugs and all those things. But enjoying means I have this and I am fully experiencing this, and there is no judgment, there is no resistance, there is no kind of trying to push it away, there is not even a wanting that I must have this forever. It is just now I have and I am in. It's something like the Nilofer things came, they were so nice. But I am right now planning. Tomorrow also I think I am going to bring one more packet. Now it goes into indulgence. Wanting that back again is indulgence. So that creates the mind.
और इसमें ये लिखा है when I God gave the king the 8 building materials comprising of 3 qualities of sattva, rajas, tamas, harmony, passion and darkness, and the 5 elements of akash, vayu, agni, jal and mati, I did not give these physically but as attributes in his mind.
Because God knew that the king was not going to create as a part of real creation. King's creation will be virtual, and because it will be virtual, they were given as mind aspects. So using those mind aspects, he would create false reality appearing to be real in the virtual world.
उसमें भी गॉड का ही कंट्रोल है. The attributes which he gave to king to create this virtual reality was also dictated by God only, right? Harmony, passion, darkness, and
Yeah, but God was using these also to create the real world.
see, here is the crux. Original में भी यही है. इनको भी virtual का दिया है.
इनको virtual दिया, he was having it real.
Real.
So like it was a substance.
Correct. बट उसमें इन्होंने कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं किया बिकॉज यू आर फॉलन गॉड और यू आर अवे. देते समय पूरा प्योर ही दिया. ऑल द एट्रीब्यूट्स ऑफ माइंड.
Because you have mind, so I'm giving you mind. If you had consciousness, I would have given you at the level of consciousness.
It's true.
That's why they are two different things.
ठीक मस्त आंसर दिया ना गॉड. बिकॉज ही इज माइंड, तो उन्होंने माइंड का दिया. कॉन्शियसनेस होता तो वो देते. है आंसर इजी, लेकिन उन्होंने कैसा क्यों माइंड का दिया? माइंड था तो माइंड को दिया. ये तो सोच नहीं यार,
Consciousness का तो
प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं था.
ये भी नहीं था.
पर कॉन्शियसनेस था तो ऐसा शायद मांगता ही नहीं ना.
ना उनको क्रिएशन गेम में इंटरेस्ट नहीं होता है.
हाँ.
उनको खाली गॉड का विल फॉलो करते हैं. If you have consciousness, you only follow the will of God, because you always know that that is the best thing that can happen to you, having God with you.
एंड वो सोल्स जो उनके आजू बाजू उनसे अट्रैक्ट हुए थे, वो जगह छोड़ के नहीं गए. अगर जगह छोड़ के कहीं जाते तो वो कम भी होता, तो वो छोड़ नहीं पाए ना.
So right now we do not know why they did not leave.
हाँ.
Right now we do not know और क्या factor
क्योंकि
था
हमारे वहाँ
because of which they got attracted.
वहाँ
There were too many non.
यहाँ कहावत है ना, जैसा संग ऐसा रंग.
हाँ.
जिसके साथ रहते हो ऐसे होते हैं, तो वो तो वहीं से ही आया ना.
वहीं से ही. True.
यहाँ नहीं बोलते ऐसे कि जैसे लोग होते हैं ऐसे इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं.
Yeah, they say you become the companion that you have. So the souls became the way their companions was.
इसमें ये भी लिखा है the real creation started when the king started creating along with the souls.
Yeah.
The souls being part of me, God, and having some consciousness brought some reality to the creations.
सेंसिटिव इसके लिए
Why did I write
हाँ.
that?
कि फोकस कर.
इस पे भी मैंने क्वेश्चन डबल मारा है. ये वाले लाइन का आप बोलो ना. The real creation started when the king started creation along with the souls. The souls being part of me, God, and having some consciousness brought some reality to the creations.
God is saying that the soul was playing the game of creation. First thing God said that if you feel earth is 1/3 land and 2/3 water, then know this that there is no land and there is no water. Both are the illusions being created. So soul did not create those things, but soul created all the living beings, starting from the microorganisms to the humans to the bigger animals, dinosaurs and everything.
Okay.
So this was not as virtual as the sun is. In sun, the soul did not create anything. It was a dream that happened, and then the king sent the life force to the sun to animate it with all the qualities of the sun. But if someone can break through the hypnosis, they will find there is no sun there. There is only one block of planet, which was created by God.
Oh my God.
So the 21 universes sent were just like block of planets, cluster of planets in each universe, which the king first made stars, then brought not all of them, some of them, others remained planets, then started creating a motion.
ये भी hypnosis ही है. Motion.
It's also in the hypnosis. Then created the rotation of the planets.
हुई है, रात दिन, seasons.
Created the season, created the night and day. Everything is nothing but an illusion.
जो हम साइंस में पढ़ते हैं,
And
Big Bang theory is also new.
and everything is so real that scientists are able to create laws around those reality because there is a repeatability. You cannot create law in mystical things. You can create laws with real things. So science works in the domain of the real, not realizing that there is nothing real.
My God.
And how that comes across, it says that atom is 99 point and there are 16 nines and then 12 nines and 1 6 according to the scientists. 12 9 and 1 6 empty space. That means if this table is there, it's only empty space even according to science. Now they brought in all those theories of nuclear power and attractions. So I read those things, but I cannot right now remember. So scientists explained it that way, that they are so closely packed. And how close it is? They said few. There's one word, angstrom, or which means 10 raised to the power of minus 10. So that means it's jam packed. That is why it appears to be solid. But even that jam packed 99 point, that much percentage is empty. Now scientists can't say that why it is like that. They only explained it in two things. It is jam packed and it is not falling apart.
इसमें और एक भी लिख रहा है सर. Thus began the story of creation in a world of king, partly a dream, partly a reality. मतलब ये जो डायनासोर और ये जो सब देख रहे हैं वो रियल है.
Whatever living creatures are there, they are real or were real because the soul were there. But those creations in which souls did not participate, they are pure pure illusion.
और इसमें ये भी लिखा है, when God decide, I kill the king and all his dreams, and creation collapses into nothingness.
We die because we are given only limited number of breath. Now king has no issue of breath. So how will king die? God has to come and kill the king.
तो God हर creation cycle में
whether comes or does it from that place is a different thing, but God kills the king and God again brings him back into aliveness. So another creation cycle starts.
And the next creation cycle is all from the mind of the king.
Mind of the king, of course, always different and never a copy paste.
हमेशा different है.
हमेशा.
अब तो नहीं आएगा ना, क्योंकि अब तो एलियंस ही होंगे ना.
अब I don't know because God कुछ future का नहीं बोल
तो वो गॉड का ही होगा.
But I have no vested interest कि ऐसा होना चाहिए
ना. तो कुछ नहीं चाहिए, बराबर है.
यहाँ पे एक तो बोले there is no such thing as gravity, तो वहीं पे मैं उड़ने लगे. फिर उसमें लिखे there is no gravity.
God says you tried to create that this is, let's say, 1 billion years. That is what you are creating. But living in a virtual world, where is 1 billion? It's like a dream. And in that dream, you can expand it to 1 billion and you can compress it to 100 years. It's all a matter of how fast you are running the dream. So, if you are dreaming on the third dimension, time and space becomes very dense and slow. The moment you start going up, time and space becomes so fast that it is almost like 1 second and out here 1 year. And space is not dense, it so expands that our mind and our 5 senses cannot even think of seeing it. As such, from third dimension to fourth dimension, we cannot see. And imagine where king lives.
So nothing ever happened. Everything is in the mind of the king.
Yeah, everything is in the dream of the king.
So nothing ever actually happened.
Yeah, in reality.
But our experience of reality appears to be real. Whatever we are experiencing.
Whatever we are experiencing, that appears to be real, because king wants each one of us to believe that this is real. Partly that was creating the food for the king, and food for the king had to be created from real creatures, and souls brought in the real creatures. And also partly king wanted to play, create the illusion of free will, and so humans have that illusion maximum that they have free will. Dogs don't have it that much. The microorganisms don't have it at all, because for them that is not a conversation. So king wanted to play this game of free will and see what kind of ripple it creates. So with the humans it brought in multiple creatures, and then created certain storylines in order to create certain dynamics, and then is observing what kind of ripple shows up, and sometimes tweaking it here, sometimes tweaking it there, and again seeing the variation. So this is the game that king is playing within his own mind.